Test, test.
Well, very good afternoon and welcome back to Jeju for the final block on the opening day of competition of the Jeju Grand-Prix 2015, and a very good afternoon to David McFall. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, Sheldon. We saw some great judo action this morning and early this afternoon.
What's caught your eye in particular? Anything?
Well, there was a couple of guys that we did not mention at the closing that really caught my eye.
Okay.
These guys are not in the gold medal match, but I liked Lemiriade from France, who had a wonderful koji that got him for the first few rounds. He ended up losing to Kim, who's in our final for the under 60 kilograms. How about yourself? What'd you like?
I like the fact that Galbadrak, the Mongolian, previously Mongolian but now Kazakh, made it through to the final. And the reason for that is that she'd been in a bit of a problem in getting to the qualification point, and we thought maybe she was going to miss out.
She needs the points.
And she needed the points, but she stepped up here. Uchiho was another one that caught my eye, the Japanese, who was, an unknown, and came in here, and she managed something as well, or did well. Davis and Kim, I'm talking about the finals here. Well, it's not a surprise for me. Davis is a useful fighter. Kim Jun-Dee fighting at home, one could expect that. Kim Won-jin, well, he did what he was supposed to do, and he's made his way to the final. Ganbat, can't bet against him, a former world champion. So it really just leaves the under 66 kilo category. Mikhail Pulyev, number 1 seed, and Fujisaka of Japan is another surprise. Uchiho and Fujisaka, they're two fighters who've pretty much said, I can do it too.
And if you tuned in earlier, we would be remiss if we did not mention the performance of Basile.
Yeah, Fabio Basile in the under 66 kilo category. I was a little bit thrown there actually, because the music that they were playing in the background, as we'd already got into the introduction of today's final block, was the IJF anthem, and you normally stand for an anthem, so I'm sorry if we've disrespected anybody by not standing for the IJF anthem, and I apologize for that. And that's why I was caught unawares. I didn't realize that they were going to play it in the 5 minutes that we have in the lead up to the action getting underway. I'll have to talk to our chaps about the timing of that, because it looks odd if we're still sitting down and they're playing someone's anthem.
Well, if the camera was still at the same angle, they would have gotten a very awful shot of our torsos, to say the least. In any case.
Exactly. We would have stood up and we would have been out the shot.
It would have been a really ugly crotch shot, folks. You wouldn't have liked it.
Right. Okay. Fabio Basile in the under 66 kilo category. We're going to try and get him up here tomorrow if he's still around. He can have a chat about his experience at senior level, having won the under 23 European Championships a week or so ago in Bratislava. He was forceful in his request for a shot at senior level, and in all honesty, he didn't do a bad job.
I think he's pretty much lived up to his expectations.
Yeah.
No one else's, but his expectations.
He may actually be short because his expectations are a lot bigger for himself than
That's
ours
true.
are. So he has surpassed my expectations of him. He probably hasn't lived up to his own, but that's because he's that plucky. I think you had a really good word for him earlier.
Brash.
He's brash. He's young. He's brash. And the thing is, if it comes off, then I suppose he could still be cocky. But you know, he's done a good job here, and it's quite possible that if he can keep that kind of tempo up, that he'll get a few more run-outs. The number of points that he would require to close the gap and get in the top 22, that is a big one.
Well,
Really.
I'll have to say this. He's shown really good skills, and the thing he's got to do today, if he's going to take that first step, is he's got to make this bronze medal match count. He's got to finish it off and finish on the podium. Then I think he'll live up to the kind of moniker that I'd say was suggested by our viewer, and
I think he's right. I'm perfectly happy to call him Grande Basile. You know, he's done
Grande Fabio, right?
yeah, Grande Fabio. Yeah. I think he was calling him Grande Basile.
Okay.
I'll go back and have a look on there to make sure. But whatever it is, he's done a really, really good job. He can be proud of his performances. He's got really nice mat etiquette. He's a little bit like Ungvari Miklos around the mat, and I hope that he's got that when he loses as well as when he wins. It's easy to be, you know.
Well, he lost that last match against Pulyev,
And he still
was
behaved
gracious.
well, yeah. And
He was a gracious loser,
Yeah.
and that's a good sign of good maturity and good coaching.
I'll go to him and I'll tell him that, you know, you did yourself proud. I'm going to tell him I didn't think you had a hope in hell. but
Pulyev would have been a
yeah.
very tall order for him.
Yeah, well, I thought the Mongolian also was a tough one, and he managed to get past him as well.
Dondov, right?
Yeah. Dovdan Altansuk, yeah. Now, we're going to get underway with the first of the medal matches, the first of which features Jeongbo Kyung of Korea. She's up against Sarah Menezes of Brazil. It'll be Jeong in the white judogi, Menezes in blue. And there's a look at the South Korean. A tough little fighter. A medal here for Menezes would be so welcome.
I'll tell you what, if you looked at the brackets, I could have called this perhaps being a final even. I mean, they were on either sides of the brackets. They
Yeah.
both have the level of judo.
Why not?
It just didn't shake out that way, but now they're fighting for bronze.
I think you're right. If they got to the final, it wouldn't have been a surprise. It would have been a much better achievement for Menezes than Jeong. In a way, fighting at home, I'm surprised that she hasn't made it to the final, but that's the way that it's worked out. You know, you just have that edge, don't you? Or it appears that way when the home fighters take to the mat. They normally have that little edge about them. Got a very boyish look about her, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's a really sweet kid. I sat next to her on the flight from Astana back to Seoul after the World Championships.
You had plenty of room then.
Oh yeah.
I sat next to Belkis Kaya, and who is the French girl that's gone over to fight for Turkey now? The two super heavyweight women, and I was sandwiched in the middle. Much to the delight and amusement of everyone on the aircraft when I got on, and there was only one seat left, and they realised where it was that I was headed.
Well, I had poor Ojitani in the seat behind me, and he was absolutely crushed in that
Yeah,
little
I can
economy
imagine.
seat. He's a big guy. Not tall, but thick. Jeong goes in for Serenage there, and that's going to score Wazadi.
Couldn't get off it.
Just kept that second effort there.
Yeah.
Didn't look that great in the entry, and then she just kept driving it.
Rosilias Campos makes her notes about that, and it's the getting caught. Once the sleeves had been trapped, she wasn't getting off that, because once she trapped those sleeves up, Jeong was down and in, and over went Menezes, and you couldn't get off that. So it's probably a note to say, you know, once that happens, you have to break that grip.
Yeah, you can't allow her to
Because
keep that grip.
yeah,
That's
here
it.
she comes, yeah.
And she comes in again. That time Menezes was able to twist her way out of it.
Grande Fabio, you're quite right. So let's make sure we address him correctly, or at least I do anyway. Grande Fabio.
Well, usually I'm only right when there's no money riding on it. If there was money riding it, I'd be wrong. Or a beer.
He's going to be up in a few fights' time.
Meantime, Jiang is up by the Wazari. Plus, there's 2 penalties that Menezes to Jiang's 1. Some nice slow motion work there. Thus far, I've seen Jiang has done all the work. I haven't really seen a decent attack by Menezes yet.
Yeah, the ability to produce attacking moves, either standing or on the ground, seems to have eluded her for the moment. You know, she's quite reactive.
That isn't looking too bad.
Yeah, there you go. Now she comes up with an Uchimata. She can't follow it up with the Jujigatami, but
Jiang is very happy to be working from the ground there with less than a minute left.
it's just a feeling that I get, you know, she's not quite she doesn't quite have the fear factor that she did in the lead up to London when, you know, it wasn't a massive surprise that she managed to take gold in London. She was, you know, one of the favourites.
I think it was a bigger surprise for me that Silva did not take gold in London.
Oh yeah.
And luckily Silva redeemed herself in Rio afterwards. But I think if the 2 picks, I would have picked Silva over Menezes as far as getting a gold in London.
Definitely. Jong Bo-kyung wins the first medal of the final block on day 1. Just a single score against Sarah Menezes of Brazil. So the Koreans on the board with a win in the opening medal contest. Right, coming up next, Dilara Lokmanahim of Turkey faces the Yaris Mestre Alvarez of Cuba. It's Lokmanahim in the white judogi, Mestre in blue. Lubomir Petra of Australia is the referee in the middle for this one. Turkey had 2 fighters in the under 48 kilo category. Ebru Shaheen and Dilara Lokmanahim. Here's the second. This is Lokmanahim. Just beginning to put a bit of a gap between her and her teammate, Ebru Shaheen. Shaheen injured her foot a while back, which kept her out of competition and presented a bigger opportunity for Lokmanachim to open up that gap.
Both of them trying to twist in there with Sayonage. Second attempt there by Mr. Alvarez.
Jumped in there, trying to follow up with the Ochigari, and now trying to work on the arm. A little bit late with the effort to climb on her opponent's back, and that allowed Nestra to stand up, and the referee called mate. She's got a really nice Ochigari.
Oh, look back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Alvarez has got a bit of a scrappy style. Cuban uses a lot of physical strength and kumigata.
No score as yet. Both fighters with good tempo, a reasonable rate of attacks, but no successes yet. Lokmanachim just beginning to chase down her opponent now.
I want to see a Shido right here.
Yeah.
Perhaps two.
Both fighters guilty of just being overly defensive with their grips there. Then Lokmanachim trying to leap in for a grip. Didn't come off. He goes over on that side too often for me. And unless you can attack immediately, you're going to end up picking up a penalty. She runs that risk.
Just got to watch out. Mr. Alvarez is nothing but tactical.
Especially in the last minute. Half a minute left to go then. Yeah, she's threatened on that side a few times. That's where Lokmanachim's going to have to be careful. They've decided that they're going to give her the penalty. I thought that was coming.
They don't really need a coach in the chair. They've got one in the stands that's doing more noise. The Cubans, I mean.
See, that's really careless from the Cuban. She gets gifted that Shido that Lockmanagim picked up for the passivity.
And then lets her creep right back into the match.
And then she comes up with that false attack. Well, despite the referee's best efforts, we're going to have some golden score. See, again, she's got to be careful. If you can't, you see, Mestre Alvarez attacks, even though, again, she's attacked again. It can't be that Lockmanagim is attacking immediately, because when she puts that arm over, Mestre Alvarez attacks first.
Right.
That's immediate. Hers is not. So really, she should have been penalized. Once that arm goes over, you cannot let your opponent be first to attack. It means that it's not
immediate.
Immediate.
Jan Snyder was very adamant about immediate means immediate.
Yeah. Well, it's 42 seconds of golden score. What was Lockmanagim's attack in that period of golden score?
I don't see any attack at all.
Not away. But they have seen a leg grab, which is really unfortunate for Mestre Alvarez. I didn't see it. So Lockmanagim steals that bronze medal, really.
The whole thing was untidy.
Yeah, yeah. Let's have a look and see what it is that they saw and decided was worthy of.
This?
It's the effort to throw the opponent using the elbow to hook the leg. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah. She's only gone over because of that hook in there. That's what it is.
It wasn't like we saw in match earlier where there was some casual contact and someone was screaming, yelling. That was not the case. This is the case.
Absolutely.
This is an actual lever that the arm was used. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well put. That was in addition to the leg being hooked in. Right. We've got the final of the under 48 kilo category. Chernovitsky Eva of Hungary faces Gadbalrak Otgonsetsig of Kazakhstan. I'm sorry that I misidentified her as Mongolia earlier on, but I'm sure you'll excuse me for her having fought there for the last 6-7 years and now coming over to Kazakhstan.
Well, even in Astana, she was sitting with the Mongolian team rooting for the Mongolian athletes.
Yeah. Vladimir Nutsubidze of Georgia is in the middle for this one. She hasn't looked her best today, I would say, Galbadrak. She hasn't banged them over. She's just been a difficult opponent, and Chernovitsky is one of the most difficult, so I'm not looking for, the most exciting of contests here. I think this is going to be hard graft for them.
That's a sheer recipe right there for Ippon.
Yeah, well.
When you make that kind of prediction.
There you go. You're just asking for trouble, aren't you? Well, she did come up with a Yuko, so that's a good start for Galbadrak. And you saw the danger there, just from the shape that she took there. If that comes off, then Chernovitsky goes flying.
So the replay here.
Well, someone was going to go, and it just happened to be Chernovitsky. Yuko the lead with 3:20 odd left to go.
I suspect with that early score on the board, that might change the whole pace of this match.
Yeah, you'd want to think that Chernovitsky would be looking at the contest now and definitely being more attacking than she had envisaged at the start. She's behind by Yuko, 2.5 minutes left to go.
Well, Yuko and Ishido, actually. But yeah, she's got to hunker down and get more aggressive.
She just got away with that positioning and given up another sheet, another Yuko.
She's just kind of going in there, but I don't think she's committing to it, and she's getting countered. She's giving Galbarak opportunities.
Just enough there to come away with a second score. Galbadrak leading with a little under 2 minutes left to go. David.
Yeah, again, as you said, Galbarak hasn't shown her this huge judo, but she's been efficient. She's taken advantage of the opportunities that have been given to her all day. This was the second Yuko. Good drive, good second effort. That was another. It could have been there. It could have been more. She might just be lacking Kazushi when she comes in, or she at this point in the match might be tired. You think that she's going to float her up on her hip, and it just doesn't happen.
She'll pick up a penalty for a false attack here.
Not going to matter.
Yeah, well, Galbadrak is the happier of the two, quite clearly. She's come out the winner. Chernovitsky coming off second best this time round.
Well, as you're sort of framing it as the feel-good story here, because she's the one who really needs the points.
Yeah, Chernovitsky will be, not disappointed to have picked up a silver medal at a Grand Prix. It'll all help. But Galbadrak, well, that can make all the difference. Especially when, we come back to talking about seeding at future competitions, and I'll go on about it, but you know, for some of the fighters it's really important where they're seeded. They just need that little bit of help early on, and with that win, those points for Galbadrak will make all the difference. I mean, currently she's down at 34, so that's a good win for her. Coming up next, Javier Guedes of Venezuela faces Orkan Safarov of Azerbaijan. It's Guedes in the white judogi, Safarov in blue. Yeah, still a bit of work for Galbadrak to do before she climbs into that qualification area, but it's getting there.
This is a good first step.
Right, Guedes and Safarov is slightly better off as far as their qualification prospects are concerned. Safarov is up there at number 6 in the world. Javier Guedes down at 125. Yeah, good way.
So he needs the points more than Safarov.
Yeah. He's 33 now, so you know he's been around a long time.
I think he's one of those guys. He'd just like to get there, get himself to Rio, get to the Olympics. Good stemming-was earlier on, and then he also had a good Seonaga to get into this bronze medal match. He's got some skills.
The problem for Guedes was that he was out for a year. All of last year he was out, so he doesn't have anything to carry him here. He's almost had to start from scratch.
I'm going to pick up Bushido here for walking out.
He's going to have to rely on the Pan American Championships if he's going to pick up some big points. I think in the past, he's certainly medalled at the Pan American Championships before. That was only a bronze. He's going to need a lot better than that if he's going to qualify.
We got a bit of a look there at Yoko Tomoinage.
I'm not going to go into who he caught with Tomoinage earlier on. I think we've already been down that route, haven't we?
Yes. Sorry, Mr. McKenzie. It was a beautiful throw. You just got caught. It happens. Just exchanging some ashiwaza there back and forth.
A little bit over-ambitious there with that. He was thinking about Taitoshi. You could see the footwork was in the making, but never really got round to it.
Hasn't been able to execute that yet today. Just that single Shido. Now that make it a pair to Guedes. That time it was Safarov rolling in for that Sore Sori.
Safarov hasn't had to do a great deal here, has he? He's just kept himself busy enough. He's never really put himself out. And it's Guedes who's picked up the 2 penalties.
The first minute and a half, the Venezuelan looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But then he seemed to have gone flat. Even here, he's just not really doing anything. He's just defending. Yes, he's done.
A 5th place finish for the Venezuelan. Safarov of Azerbaijan it is who takes the bronze medal, first of the bronze medals in the under 60 kilo category.
Not one of the more entertaining matches, but I have a feeling that Takabatake versus Limare is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit more punchy in that, yeah. Right, coming up next, Eric Takabatake of Brazil faces Vincent Limar of France. It'll be Takabatake in white and Limar in blue. I think you're right. Limar did look, in good form earlier on. He was nice to watch. I enjoyed watching him earlier. Had some good fights.
For a guy whose main thing was Koji, he was really smacking him over a couple of those fights. Beautiful Hippon that he had, I believe, in the second round. I think it was against Gambold, I think. We discussed earlier in the day about pressures and difficulties that the Brazilian team is facing this year. Takabatake would definitely like to get on the board with a bronze medal here. Get his game going. Lamar has not had much success with his Stenois that I've seen today. I think what he's got to do is get a couple Seonage attempts in, get Takabatake looking, and then go for that Koji.
We were talking about the spoilt for choice situation that faces Brazil, in as much as they can select a representative at each weight category for the Olympics.
Gorgeous. That should score.
Yeah,
that would be good for Yuko, yeah.
So they have the possibility of selecting a fighter rather than having one qualify. So at 60, you're looking at Takabatake
or Kitadai.
And Kitadai.
Certainly, Takabatake had the Ippon height, but the Yuko landing for that Uranage. Now Lamar got his arm out there to block it, but at the same time, there's another one. But for those watching at home, it's probably a good idea to just take the Ukemi. That's a surefire way of losing a shoulder or breaking your arm, and there are some ugly videos on the internet that show that. I believe that happened once to Suzuki Keiji. I'm trying to think. I think Yoshida was the other one. I think Yoshida did it and really had a nasty compound arm fracture that is hideous to look at. There we go again. So I would say that Takabatake has Lamar's numbers in terms of the gripping now. Every time he tries to come over, Takabatake just takes it to him. And now up by Wazari and Yuko with a minute and a half left. Hasn't really given Lamar a whiff of a chance at that Koji. And in fact, if he wanted to, Takabatake could take a couple Shidos here, and he wouldn't really be in much trouble. Welcome back, folks. We had a bit of a power outage there, but we're back on and good. So with 30 seconds left, just as that went on, I was talking about Takabadaki could take a couple, and in fact, he's taking one Shido, but he still leads by Wazari and Yuko with 21 odd seconds on the board.
He hasn't been the same man in this bronze medal match, has he, Limar?
I give all credit to Takabatake for actually take all the fight out of this dog. That was the best we've seen so far. But that's a little too late.
You know, having been one of the most impressive players in the lead up to the final block, he ended up looking slightly flat-footed. He comes up with Wazari right at the end, but Takabatake shakes his head and says he didn't even think that was worth it. Although in any case, he had a second score. Eric Takabatake of Brazil takes the bronze medal. Where are we now? December. We're 6 months away from the end of qualification, and you have a fighter who's looking to go to the games, who takes his first medal in an IJF Grand Prix. It's not looking good, is it?
And he's looking at like the stronger of the two at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done between now and this summer.
Now, you know that when you get to the Olympic Games, the tournament is going to be 5-star. It's going to be a 5-star tournament. What we're looking at here is really 3-star tournament. And he just squeezes out a bronze medal. Right, we come to the final now of the under 60 kilo category. Kim Wonjin of Korea faces Ganbat Bolbata of Mongolia. It's Kim in the white judogi, Ganbat in blue. 4-1 is the head-to-head here. Kim over Ganbat.
And Gabat's got to do it in Kim's backyard.
It's a big ask, isn't it?
It's a long road to hoe right there.
I wonder where they dig these old tunes up from.
I was going to say, the eye of the tiger. And you must be knowing the next Rocky movie's coming around the pike. Is it called Creed, I think it's called?
He's not in it, is he?
Stallone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Apollo Creed's son's trainer, I believe.
Oh, right, okay. I mean, I can't possibly be fighting. To help him down the aisle on his Zimmer frame.
Let's just put it this way, I don't think he would pass doping control.
There was a period during the 70s when they had movies like that, you know, Towering Inferno 1 or Towering Inferno 3 or 4 or whatever number it was, you know.
I'm old enough to remember number 1.
Some of those
Paul Newman.
Disaster movies, and then you would get a follow-up, you know, this one, that one, and another.
The Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah.
Earthquake. God, we're showing our age, aren't we?
Airplane 1 or Airplane 2. Mind you, that was hilarious. Slightly different kettle of fish, but we've come to this point simply because of the Rocky music on entry. Got nothing to do with Kim and Ganbat. There's no score on the board at the moment. 3:40 odd left to go. Nothing to write home about. You haven't missed anything.
That looks better. That's going to score well. Wazari?
Every fight. He's gone over every fight, you know.
Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been behind the 8 ball more than once, and he's come back.
I think he's been scored on in every contest, and he's been, as you say, behind in every fight. He hasn't scored first in any of his contests. Let's just have a look at that.
Well, now we know why they play the Eye of the Tiger music, because that would probably happens every time.
Cavallo was the only fighter that he came away unscathed from. Gadzhiev scored on him twice. I have to take it back because Geddes didn't. So that was okay. He's been scored on here. Lemara didn't score on him either. So I don't know what I was watching.
No, there was a feeling there. It just felt like he was always sort of trying to climb back out of a hole, right?
Yeah, it could be that there was one that was given and then cancelled, because I'm sure that he was.
That's probably at least one of those.
On, yeah.
In any case, he's down by Wazari here.
Yeah.
And we're already halfway through the match. And Gambat really does look in control here. He looks like he's riding this horse all the way to town.
Now, bear in mind that it's 4-1 at the moment in the head-to-head in favor of Kim Won-jin.
I don't think that is anything in Gambat's mind right now. He is just
no, he definitely
in
wants
full
some
attack
revenge.
mode here. He's going to get a Shido here, I think, for passivity. He just sort of sprawled out there versus taking the attack. No.
Has he got the firepower to first of all wear Ganbat down, and then to come up with a winning technique? It's beginning to look like it, you know. Ganbat just showing some signs of feeling the oncoming storm.
Well, I would say in terms of fitness here, right? I mean, the Koreans are as fit as anybody, you know? But the Mongolians also have some pretty brutal dojos and fitness as well, so.
And over he goes. Oh, I like that for a score.
I like that for at least a Yuko, but I call that Wazari.
Yeah, so would I. And the reason for that is if we talk about his intended technique, he never stops attempting that technique. There's no point at which he attempts, no point at which that ends, and eventually they come up with it. Yep. That's the effort. And he just keeps pushing. And that was at slow motion.
Right. Yeah, it looks a little worse in slow motion than it really was.
Because there's that one little pause, but, you know, at pace. Well, he's had and he almost catches him again. Now we can afford to work him on the ground here because we know that Ganbat's going downhill. We looked at 2 minutes, Cho Jun-ho, up in the stands. We looked at Ganbat at 2 minutes and said, hey, he's just beginning to tire here, but has Kim got enough to come back with a big score and then to take it? Well, he's come back. He's trying again on that side. Half a minute left to go. He's really got... Yeah, and a penalty as well. Well, the thing, he's done that old Korean trick of attacking 3 times in a row and not letting your opponent get an attack in.
Well, especially if about his gassed, you know what I'm saying? He's just...
Oh, he missed the chance there. That leg was just hanging in the air, wasn't it?
He's stolen this one from him, hasn't he?
Yeah. And Ganbat
he goes
stepping
deeper.
out the area. Kim can afford to pick up a penalty here.
And it's 5-1.
5-1.
Unbelievable.
That's his bunny, isn't it? You know?
Unbelievable.
Who would believe it? Well, he looked all done and dusted, didn't he?
He really looked like he was so deep of a hole, he was not going to crawl out.
There was just something when I asked that question, you know. And you know what it was? It was the 4-1. I was thinking, hang on a minute here. He's done this boy up 4 times already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here he is at home. Yes, he's Wazari down, but he's found a way to beat him 4 times.
It's true. It's true.
Now,
Absolutely.
there's no luck in that.
No.
1-1, 2-1, you know. 3-1, you already said, you know, he's got it. 4-1, he owns him. And with Wazari down, 4-1, he showed it. You know, he still came back.
It really took it to him.
Yeah. If you don't throw Kim Won-jin for Ippon, you better look out. He's going to come back. And he's shown that he can do that right. There are a few highlights whilst we prepare for the awarding ceremony in the under 48 kilos. Stay with us. We'll bring you the awarding ceremony in a moment. Right, the bronze medals were won by Jong Bo Kyung of Korea and Dilara Lokmanahim of Turkey. The silver medal goes to Chernivitsky Eva, and the gold medal to Galbadrak Otgansetsig. And now the national anthem of Kazakhstan. Right, the first of the gold medals then go to Kazakhstan. Galbadrak Otgansetsig taking the gold. Chernovitskieva was the silver medalist, and there were bronze medals for Jongbo Kyung of Korea and Dilara Lokmanahim of Turkey.
That must have been a very interesting feeling for Galbach, just because this is the first time she's been on the stand to hear the national anthem of Kazakhstan with her there as a former representative of Mongolia.
Well, that's the conversation that I had with Deguchi Krista. I'll come back to that in a moment. Roni Schwartz now in the under 52 kilo category. In her bronze medal match faces Annabelle Urani of France. It's Schwartz in the white judogi, oddly enough, and Urani in blue. Deguchi Krista said to me she dreams of winning a gold medal at the Olympics. So I said to her, and when you have your dream, do you see the flag and the anthem go up? And she said, yes. And I say, and which anthem do you hear and which flag do you see? And the shock came on her face and she said, Japan. End of story about going anywhere to represent anyone else. That was the end of it.
Yep.
It's your dream. Your dream is to represent your country. And she said, okay, that's it then.
Unfortunately, she's in the deepest pool that Japanese women have. So
very true. But I think it's a great thing for her personally. A lot more at stake. Ooh, couldn't even fall off the other side. But there's a lot more at stake for Deguchi than just, making a choice about whether she fights for Japan or Canada. There's so much more. She's got no plans of going to live in Canada. She's got no plans of moving from Japan to do anything anywhere else. That's her home. And, giving that up when you've had to work so hard to establish yourself.
I just hope that she has a good plan B as far as her career, because as we said earlier, you're going to have an Olympic or World Championship to get any position within Japanese judo.
Yep.
And that's probably not going to happen. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, well, she is like a number of other Japanese fighters. She'll have to find something else to do. But as David has just pointed out, the prospects of making it into a coaching position are pretty slim. Anyway, the first thing that she'll be thinking about is representation. Get that one out of the way first.
Meantime, we have no score on the board yet. How long were you waiting to say that comment about Schwartz ironically being in the white judo gi?
I don't think I've ever had to use it before. It only just occurred to me then when she came out. But I'd imagine that when if she's competed in Germany, then it would be slightly ironic for the stadium announcer, because he would have had to have said Schwarz in Weiß. A little bit of a giggle.
For those who are real rusty in their German, Schwarz does mean the color black.
Yeah. But we've got quite a few. We had, and we have had, and we still do, I suppose, over the years, a lot of fighters who've got, as a family name, the name of a color.
Yes. But things are not always so black and white.
Yuko on the board for Schwarz.
I apologize.
Two very good friends, both of whom had color names for their family names. Denzine White was one of them, and Kerith Brown was another. And they told me about, and they had another player at their club who I knew as well, whose name was Frank Green. So, and there was another one who I didn't meet myself, but his name was Gerald Scarlett.
Well, we'll be seeing Colton Brown, the United States,
exactly.
at
there you go.
Tokyo next week. He was in Qingdao, had a pretty good result there.
Still a single Yuko for Schwarz. She leads here with 40-odd seconds left to go. She picks up a penalty. Not going to worry about that too much at the moment. Urani, who indicated to us after her last contest that she was absolutely spent as far as energy was concerned, has hung in here and has still got a little over half a minute to come up with something, but looking a bit dire.
She looked really gassed against it
Yeah.
was Uchiho, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't quite drag Uchiho up on her hip the way we normally see her do, just like she was doing here. Schwartz doing a good job here, just staying ahead. A few seconds left on the clock. You know, we were talking about making weight, and I just think perhaps that in the case of Oriani, if you look at that frame, keeping that frame under 52 has got to be a real mental and physical struggle, and it might be why she's so tired.
Well, I used to think that until she'd been off and had a baby, and when she came back at exactly the same weight and says makes the weight without any trouble.
Okay.
She says she has no weight making the trouble. My first thoughts were it must be difficult making 52, but she's so thin, and that's her weight. She doesn't have to worry about it.
Fair enough.
You never know what led up to this particular competition with her.
Yeah, she could have had a cold or something like that, or
bit touchy. Could still have one.
Yep.
You know.
Well, to
The
continue with
travel as well.
to continue with our color scheme, Schwartz in white gets bronze.
Okay.
You're not gonna go there.
Yeah, that's okay. Right, who have we got coming up next? The second of the bronze medal matches. Kim Mi-ri of Korea faces Priscilla Netto of France. It's Kim in the white judogi, Netto in blue. We've already had one Kim as a winner. That was Kim Won-jin, and we may yet have another. Although our expected winner is in the final of the under 57 kilo category, Kim Jun-di. Could have some success before that with Kim Mi-ri. Now, was it this Kim that had difficulty with her forearm? Or was there one in the under 57 kilo category, a second Kim?
I don't think it was this Kim. I think the Kim had slightly longer hair.
Yeah, Kim Min-ju is the other one. She was struggling with the arm.
This is our first look at Netto all day, right? We just sort of missed her. She's been
Yeah.
around the edges.
Yeah.
So with a minute gone, just a bit of kumigata here. Kim picks up the first penalty. And now they each pick up one. So Kim is down by a penalty after the first minute. That's a good entry there by Nieto.
Two penalties picked up by Kim. Still plenty of time left.
Yeah, really anybody's game right now. Just looking for the real first good attack.
Threatened with the left side there. Then she looked for the Osodogari, but decided against it. 3 penalties picked up by Kim now. Slightly untidy work. But then, given the level of the opposition, it's not surprising that she'll come up with a few errors as she tries to come to grips with a technically superior
I was going to say a real
opponent,
tactician right here.
Yeah.
You can see now that she's got to sort of commit. Nieto is getting the grip there, and she's just inviting her in.
And she hasn't had to do a great deal, Neto. She just left it up to Kim to come up with a few errors and leave her with a gap that is going to prove difficult to close here. And then she comes
It's going to
up
score
with
with
a
a Yuko at least. Wazadi.
And she got dumped at the end, didn't she? Just that little bit too difficult an opponent, Neto. Kim Miri having a bit of a handful to deal with here. And just a little nudge there. See, I hope they don't give Kim the... Well, they are. They're going to say that it was a step
Walk out, yep.
But, you know, for
Neto
me...
kind of led her.
You know, you can put a little bit of pressure on, but for
Right.
me, there was the push there. She got suckered into that, and she didn't stand up. You know, you have to be able to stand up just a little bit, and she just stepped out. So 4 penalties picked up by Kim Miri. Priscilla Neto of France. 2. I would hardly call it applause, even polite applause. There wasn't even a ripple.
There was about 3 people
There were
clapping.
yeah,
And they were all French.
They were all French. Yeah, one of them was the physio as well. So, but Neto did get hold of her there, threw her well. Right, so the second of the bronze medals goes to Priscilla Neto. There are a few of the highlights. We'll come back with the final. Hope I wasn't too harsh on the people from the doping control there. Making a hell of a racket next to us. To apologise to our doctor in a minute.
In case, mission accomplished for Neto.
Here comes the gold medal match then. Andrea Kitsu of Romania faces Uchiyo Mako of Japan. It'll be Kitsu in the white judogi, Uchiyo in blue.
Rank number 1 versus rank number 74. So
Well, we're going to find out because
that could mean absolutely nothing. Look at the quality of opponents that Uchiyo has gotten. Cohen and Babarmotova. Oriani.
The thing for Uchiho is that we've only seen her at the European Open, apart from junior competitions and the Universiade, that kind of thing. We've only seen her at the European Open when she won the gold medal in Sofia. So we know she's got some pedigree, but given the strength, the strength in numbers, the depth that the Japanese have got, you're not going to get many run-outs when you're a youngster. Well, here's another run-out that they've given her. She's taken it, by... she's grasped the opportunity, and here she is in the final. There she gets on with Kitsu.
Here's the thing. She could do well with Kitsu, but I believe she doesn't have a bid to Tokyo. And therefore, she really doesn't have even a run at Nishida here at this weight class.
Yeah,
This is a look at somebody for 2020.
Yeah. I think you would want to have seen a lot more than just a win at a European Open and a Grand Prix. It's highly unlikely that we're going to see her in Tokyo anyway, because that's next week. And if she was going to be in Tokyo, she wouldn't be fighting here.
Exactly.
The likelihood of that is very slim. So if we're not going to see her in Tokyo, then she's not, as David has just said, and as hinted, she's not in the running. However, if she wins here, then we could see her on the European circuit early next year. That's back in Sofia, Paris,
I'd say
Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf would probably be a better call.
Those sorts of things. You see, what you're looking at is the world number one. You're looking at the world number one here.
Yeah.
In Andrea Kitsu.
If she beat the world number one, yeah.
Exactly. So if she beats the world number one, then she gets that run out next year in, as you say, Sofia, Dusseldorf. Maybe because she's there anyway. I say, okay, well, do Paris. We'll do the inscription when we see how you get on. Of course, that could all fall flat. She loses here. Back to the drawing board.
That's true. But I mean, it's always hard, when Nishida wins the world championship the year before. Yeah. That's just a hard one to knock off. But you always want to have the reserve because you never know if Nishida gets injured.
And then, to be honest, you go to Hashimoto. She causes more problems.
As long as she's got the points.
Yeah, she has. She's already, in a qualification spot. She causes more problems for the non-Asian fighters on the ground than anybody. You just don't want to go to the ground with Hashimoto Yuki. The problem for that is that they all know her now.
Yep.
Nobody wants to go on the ground with her. So they kind of shut that door.
I really wish if she developed more STEMI waza. If you're going to look at some waza to set that up, develop some STEMI waza, to back that up. Well, right now it's Uchiho down by one Shido at the halfway point. And I'm seeing Kichu as the aggressor in this match thus far. You're seeing the difference between a number 1 seed rank and a number 74 here. But not a huge difference.
Yeah, but you did point out that 74 may not entirely reflect, the true state of things. Yeah, she knows that she's come down heavily on her.
I would have given that a Wazadi myself. We'll see in the replay. It was a solid throw. I just want to see how the landing looks. No, she's grabbing her knee, which is not a good sign.
And Uchiho knew that immediately. So did Kitsu, by the way.
That there was something wrong.
Yeah. She doesn't want to put any weight on it.
The guy helping her out could do a little bit better job.
Yeah. Well, they may want to
just bring the stretcher out.
Bring the stretcher. It's enough heroics, Let's get the stretcher on there.
like to see the replay.
Yeah, why not? Sometimes if there's an injury as a result of the technique, they don't show the replay, so that's probably why they haven't done it.
Fair enough.
But she was attempting to walk off and stand, so I mean, you're not going to get that if it's desperately serious. It's obviously, real pain, but well, let's hope that we've got good news to bring you regarding Uchio and nothing serious.
Hopefully it's just a couple bags of ice.
Yeah. So Kitsu continues her what are we going to call it? Success at 52 kilos. She's the real deal, Andrea Kitsu.
Oh yeah.
Real deal. Right, we come now to the awarding ceremony for the men in the under 60 kilo category. Let's have a look and see what the lineup is. Bronze medals go to Eric Takabatake of Brazil and to Orkan Safarov of Azerbaijan. That's Takabatake receiving his bronze medal. Safarov minus the plaster, he had his nose plastered up. Silver medal goes to Ganbat Bolbatar of Mongolia. Would have beaten anybody today except Kim Won-jin. And it's Kim Won-jin who steps up to take gold here in Jeju. Kim Won-jin, Ganbat Bolbatar, Orkan Safarov, and Eric Takabatake. Those were the medal winners in the under 60 kilo category. Coming up next, we've got the bronze medal matches in the under 66 kilo category. The first of these features Golan Polak of Israel. He's up against Azamat Mukhanov of Kazakhstan. It's Polak in the white judogi, Mukhanov in blue. Notice you managed to see what was happening with Uchio outside.
No.
No. Okay, all right. Wango Chiao is the referee in the middle for that one.
Kazakhstan has a second chance to get on the podium here.
That's right. This time it's Mukhanov.
Konov makes the first really big attack there, looking for Stemiwaza. Pollock just got to start getting things going here. Seeing that one Shido finally get Pollock to get his head back in the game. He was looking for Osotogari in that last exchange. I think he's still stinging from what was that last loss that he had? Was that Basile?
No, it had to be before that, didn't it? Because Basile's in the bronze medal match as well. He lost in the quarter-final to Basile. So he's fought again since then against Olenek. I think he's got over that now. Having beaten Olenek. Well, he could still be upset about it. You're quite right. That was his last loss. But in order to be here, you must have had another win, and that normally sorts your head out. But yeah, he could still be suffering.
Well, that was a solid attack there, and you got a Wazadi for that effort, as we were talking. And that score stands. So Pollock now leads by a Wazadi halfway through the match. Mukhanov has to climb the big mountain. Tries to work a little Yoko Tomoinage. Goes again this time, look like a bit of maybe Sumigaishi. And again, it's Pollock making the big attack. And he had a look at Osai Komi and then looked up at the ref. Classic example of letting one go.
He was lucky there. David was quite right. He was they call it in football ball watching. You know. You have to see what's going on in what you're doing. Don't worry about the referee. He's gonna make the signals. He's gonna do the calls. There's a chance for the Osai Komi. You have to put it on. If after that he says, Wazari Awazeti upon Soramade, okay, then you can let him up. But after that,
yeah, in fact that was the case. The point was mute, but the thing was, his initial call was Yuko, and the fact that you got the guy in a fantastic position for Osai Komi, and you could see he looked at the referee.
And we both winced when we saw that split second when he looked up. No, too late then, because he's on his way off. Mukhanov is on his way out. And
somewhere down the road, that's going to haunt him, because he's going to do that same action again, and he's going to get caught, and he's going to lose the match.
And at exactly the time that Pollock stops to look up, Mukhanov says, "Hey, I'm not hanging around here."
That's right. Right there. He's got him. He's
Right.
got him absolutely set up for Keisugatame.
He looks up,
He looks up.
and Makhanov says, I'm
Thank
off.
you very much. See you next Tuesday.
Right, the second of the bronze medal matches. Another Israeli, this time Tal Flicker, faces Fabio Basile of Italy. It's Flicker in the white judogi, Basile in blue. It's Minakawa of Brazil is the referee. In the
Oh,
middle
I
for
could
this
go
one.
so much with an Edison and a flicker and a signal joke, but I won't do it.
Okay,
I
no,
won't
we'll
go
leave that
there.
one, yeah.
And here he comes,
Grande Fabio.
running up to the tatami. He just can't wait to get this thing going.
Was Fabio? He was responsible for the defeat of Golan Polak, wasn't
That's
he?
what I'm saying. I think that, that's got to stick in Polk's craw a little bit,
Oh, revenge for the Israeli team if Flicker can overcome Basile, but nightmare if he smacks both of them. Settle down, young man. Take your time. He's just a bit loose with the area, isn't
And
he?
he stepped right out.
Yeah. If he keeps this up, he'll end up in my good books as for etiquette as Ungvari Miklos is as well. It's when they lose whether they can hold it all together. Nah.
That's a good look there for Flicker. Looking in there with Seanage.
Single Shido against Basile at the moment. Nothing to write home about. Plenty of time.
It looked like he was going to try to roll in for that sore
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He had the footwork for it, but then there's a slip or he just didn't have his balance. He looks slightly out of rhythm compared to his previous matches.
Mm.
Looking for things like Koichi there.
A little bit nervous. He's also having to deal with a completely different strength level here. You know, his contest as a junior haven't set him up for this kind of power game all day, for the whole day as yet.
I was going to say, in contrary, Pollock is a pretty powerful customer right there.
Yeah, exactly. And he must have, you know, every contest takes its toll, doesn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah.
So you might be able to do one or two during the day and still stay strong, but you have to get out there, because you were talking about, we were laughing earlier on about going into Golden Score and what that was like physically and everything. Well, you know, Basile has been out there. This is his fifth time out now. I don't care how strong you are as a young man. You go out there with these, you know, dare I say, real men who are accustomed to this kind of power battle. It's a different game from when you're fighting in the juniors.
Well, see, he's only down by the one Shido.
Yeah.
So up to now, he hasn't looked like he has in the previous matches, but who knows? Maybe he's got another trick or two up his sleeve. He's got to find his rhythm.
he's only got to settle on that grip once and catch Flicker if he can. And then we've got a different fight. Flicker's probably seen it now. He's wise to that.
With just one positive score, Yuko could just change the entire composure of this match. You can see he's looking to set something up here. That might go down as a false attack.
Flicker happy to spend a bit of time down there.
Flicker showing all the traits of a wily veteran. Knows how to work the kid. So look there.
Uchimata.
Oh, that.
Just a little bit more turn with the hands and he'd have taken him there. He can't push his way through to get the Osai Komi, but that was close, wasn't it? Oh.
That was a glimmer of grande Fabio.
Yeah, that was a really good effort there from Vasile.
I like the way he came out of the Uchimata and then without a little bit, just vroom. He just lost the hand grip, right?
Yeah.
If he had steered those hands through.
And the other thing is, as you said earlier, he gets that elbow and arm down. There's a bit of space in between, isn't there?
Yeah.
Only a score is going to do it here. 8 seconds to go.
By the time he gets his Kumigata.
Yeah.
So there'll be two Israelis on the third step of the podium.
That was a good effort from Fabio Basile.
It's very, very close.
Yeah, pleased for him. He ends up with the 5th place. And he looked good in getting there.
Yeah, he proved that he belonged there.
Yeah.
That he belongs to this level.
Yeah.
He backed up his talk.
That's right.
And Flicker knows, I think, that he just dodged a bullet.
Stay with us. We'll bring you more action from the final block on the opening day of the Jeju Grand-Prix 2015. Right, we've got the final of the under 66 kilo category coming on. Mikhail Pulyaev of Russia faces Fujisaka Taro of Japan. It's Pulyaev in the white judogi, Fujisaka in blue.
Well, just like we said with Neto, we really haven't seen much of Fujisaka today. He's been sort of under the radar.
Yeah. Although we saw plenty of Pulyaev, didn't we? Just didn't happen to be. I think he was down on mat number 1 and Pulyaev was on mat number 2. They divided up the under 66 kilo category because we didn't see any of Nejat Shikalizada, and he was down on mat number 1. So
missed out a little bit on seeing a few of the fighters down there.
Oh, I just saw the opponents he fought, like Oriarty and Karapiantian and Flicker. You know, just at the time there were better matches that we were picking out.
Yeah.
But here he is in the final. I mean, another guy that it's more like a 2020 pick when you got Ebinuma and you've got Abe and you've got all these quality guys that they've got at 66. Puliev goes to work right away.
Comes up with a score, Yuko.
I mean, I'm starting to see the rationale behind the team they're bringing. Basically, you came in second and third at the Kodokan Cup. Your ticket was here.
Oh, okay.
The first place folks, they got the ticket to the Tokyo Grand Slam. Consolation prize for second and third is you got a ticket here. Puliev up by Yuko. Fujisaka giving Puliev a bit of a run for his money on the ground here. That was the Yuko score. Good effort by Fujisaka. At least he got Puliev moving a bit.
Puliev has walked out there.
So Shida evened up. That was
Almost.
a good look there by Fujisaka.
Minute 53, there's still time here.
There's plenty of time here. Puliev has got to just keep hammering away. Those kind of exchanges could be anybody's game.
Got nice balance, Fujisaka. Because Puliev is strong there. Managed to avoid going over. And almost came up with a counter himself. Again. He's got good reactions, the young Japanese.
Well, you know, he's coming out of Kokushikan, which is one of the premier Japanese universities. I just saw his coach, actually, Suzuki Keiichi, in the men's room. And got to be proud of his boy. A chance of a score here got waved off, but nice Uchimata attempt there. Puliev just getting his hand at the block that.
Yeah.
Again, kids, don't try that one at home. Just take the ukemi. It ain't worth it unless you're at this level.
Fujisaka can stay on his feet here and avoid giving up another score. He could catch Puliev.
He certainly could.
Puliev is
That
going to
looked
take
ugly right there.
He's going to take a dive here. Picks up a second Shido.
clever enough not to pick up 2 more.
He can afford 1 more. He almost stepped out there.
Oh, that's poor.
But that was because he was moving outside, I think. The referee, I think, is going to be aware of that. Doesn't?
Yeah.
No, they're gonna nick him for it.
No, they're just having a look to see a bit of blood on his mouth.
No, good call. We have selling that Sumigaishi there.
20 odd seconds left to go.
Able to avoid. Initially an Uchimata, and then he sort of turned out of that. That was not pretty. That should definitely be a Shido.
Well, he's leaving it now. That will be.
That's about the 3rd one we saw, though.
Oh, and again, are they going to give this or not? I don't believe that. There was no attack there.
I saw 4 times that he sort of
That last
ugly
one,
little.
there was no attack there. If you're a clever fighter, and you work the rules, and you work them well, I haven't got a problem with that. Those are the rules. You work them well. You win the way that the rules allow you to win. That's fine. But that.
Yeah, we threw on the word tactician, and that's really that is gaming the rules. But that was 3 belly flops in a row.
And he doesn't move him in the last attack.
No, he just lets go and then drops to the mat.
He's got no intention of throwing him. He just wants to get away from him. He doesn't put Fujisawa under any kind of threat to be thrown. And for me, that's a false attack. However, he was the only fighter to come up with a positive score. But in the end, he then gets protected for the next, 3.5 minutes.
Well, especially the last 30, 40 seconds were pretty ugly.
He scored with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left on the clock. That's how long there was. And that's how long it took to come up with the 3rd penalty.
I saw 4 and 1 got penalized.
Right. We come now to the awarding ceremony for the women in the under 52 kilo category. Right, the bronze medals go to Priscilla Neto of France and Roni Schwartz of Israel.
Unfortunately, Uchiyo is on the way to the hospital. So
Yeah, Uchiyo Mako couldn't attend the awarding ceremony. She's going to have her knee looked at. The gold medal goes to a smiling and a very happy Andrea Kitsu of Romania. Well, you've got one more weight category to bring you. It's 6:45 here, so that's not bad. And now the national anthem of Romania. one more weight category to bring you then. That's the under 57 kilo category. We've got the 2 bronze medal matches and then the final. And the first of the bronze medal matches features Rafaela Silva of Brazil. She's up against Lian Chen-Ling of Chinese Taipei. It's Silva in the white judogi, Lian in blue.
Going back to this morning, these are 2 of my picks. I thought they might be a little higher toward the podium. Lian had a tough fight against Kim. That went down to the wire there. And Silva went down to Davis. A bit of a surprise. No disrespect to Davis.
She's been, showing some nice judo and losing out to some really good opponents. It's just a question of having a reasonable draw, not the fullest of fields, like 6 or 7 from the top 10, and then winning when she had to. A reasonable job.
She's been knocking on the door.
Yeah. Taking another whack to the face.
Silva's taking some abuse today.
Yeah. She won't win any of that pain-killing stuff again.
No. It wasn't Silva who was wincing. Who was that?
Yeah, Silva.
Was it Silva?
It was on the mouth, do you remember?
Okay, oh, that's right.
She came over here for a bit of treatment and she just pulled her head back.
She finds herself down by 2 Shidos. Now it's Lian who picks up a Shido.
Yeah, it's a little bit untidy at the moment.
Lian eager to go to the mat with Silva. Extremely confident with her her ground skills. And now it's 2 apiece. Silva gets nailed for what is a false attack?
No, it was for gripping over on one side.
And not attacking.
Yeah.
With that grip.
Yeah, if she puts the arm over, she just attacks right away, but she failed to do that, unfortunately.
Well, now she's down 3-2, and she's getting some mat work here with Leanne. Colomate.
So Leanne was clever there. She found herself on the same side and immediately attempted the makikomi. Wasn't the strongest of attacks, but at least she put that in.
Yeah.
That way she avoids getting called for the holding on one side. Half a minute left to go. The advantage with Leanne at the moment, having picked up only 2 penalties, whereas Silva has collected 3. Nice and upright, both fighters, the whole contest.
Unfortunately, as the scores reflect, not the kind of attacking we would like to see.
Now, they've both been very strong gripping and movement, haven't they? And they negated each other. Silva picked up 3 penalties. Leanne just the 2, and it's the girl from Chinese Taipei who wins out here over Rafaela Silva of Brazil.
And the bronze medalist in blue for Chinese Taipei is Lian Qianli. Congratulations to Lian Qianli for her first bronze medal at Grand-Prix tournaments.
So another bit of disappointment there for Brazil. It looks like Takabatake was the only one to come up with a medal. They all look like they're in the running in the first 2 rounds.
We've got the second of the bronze medal matches coming up now. In the under 57 kilo category, Viola Wächter of Germany faces Kim Min-ju of Korea. It's Wächter in the white judogi, Kim in blue.
And now, please welcome judoka. Wearing the blue judogi fighting for the first time for the bronze medal, representing Korea, Kim Min-ju.
Game face
Absolute.
from Viola Wächter. You see how Minju's arm holds up, because she was struggling in her last contest at the end. She'd been having some treatment here from our doctor, and then she was struggling a bit at the end of the last contest.
Just by her body language, she looks like she's game here. We'll see. I'm not sure which arm it was that was incapacitated, but
Could have been the right. Could have been her right, yeah.
yeah, because the left arm looks solid on the collar there. Kim sort of rolls in there for a Sanagi but loses her grip.
Single Yuko the lead. No, Vechter's now got a Yuko on the board as well. And they were both
Two
to
Yukos.
they were both to Vechter. It was just a mistake on the scoreboard operator's part when he put one of the Yukos against the name of Kim. So 2 scores on the board for Viola Vechter. She's just had a Saikomi call and then now Togeto.
Waved out quickly. It's almost like as soon as Kim realized the Osai Komi was called, she immediately went to work to get out.
Struggling with the arm again. That right hand was giving her trouble earlier on, and it's causing her more problems now.
Time is not on her side at this point.
Nor is the injury. That's really hurting her.
Well, time, the injury, the scores.
It's all piling up.
Well, we saw that game face the beginning. The
Well,
German came ready to play.
A spirited effort
Yeah, it was.
from Kim Min-ju, but she came into the contest carrying an injury, aggravated it partway through.
It's a courageous performance.
Yeah,
You know, she gave it her all, but she just didn't have it all to give.
very nice. Has anyone used that before, or you just coined that yourself?
Occasionally I get one or two, right?
Well, that was a really good one, David. Yeah, I like it.
As the Japanese say, even monkeys fall from trees.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Viola Vechter it is then who takes a bronze medal for Germany. We've got the final coming up next, after which we've got 2 awarding ceremonies for you. The first of which will be the under 66 kilo category, and then the next will be the under 57 kilo category. Before that, we've got the final, and that features Nakoda Smith-Davis of Great Britain. She's up against Kim Jun-dee of Korea. It's Davis in the white judogi, Kim in blue.
Final of the first day of Jeju Grand-Prix. It's final for win number 57 kg. 이어서 금일 마지막 경기입니다. 여자 마이너스 57kg 결승전 대결을
Oh, Kim almost had Davis up on her hip there. That looked really dangerous for White there. See, they're just sort of hip to hip there. He's trying to get a grip to see if they can use some koshiwaza. That was a Seoinage attempt there by Kim. Davis just drawing the leg over the front there. Almost gets caught by Kim there. There's a big throw there by Kim. Elisa Yuko. There we go. Good call by the referee. Nice entry. Davis has got to watch out when she makes entries like that. She's open for Udodage. She doesn't have the balance.
Probably trying to push it a little bit too quickly. Having had a look at the clock, being a Yuko down, just risking it a bit now.
Settle.
No real time to develop anything on the ground, I'm afraid. Well, Nakota Davis running Kim Jun-dee fairly close there. Just a single score for the Korean, but that was enough to get past the British fighter, Dakota Davis. She takes silver. It's Kim Jun-dee who joins Kim Won-jin as the gold medalists for today. Stay with us. We'll bring you highlights of the day's competition as well as the 2 awarding ceremonies. Right, we've got the awarding ceremony for the men in the under 66 kilo category coming up now. Let's go down to the far end of the competition hall and have a look and see who it is that taking home the silverware. Well, the 2 Israelis will pick up the bronze medals. Tal Flicker and Golan Polak. The silver medal goes to Fujizaka Taro of Japan. Another good effort from the Japanese, I like that. The gold medal goes to Mikhail Pulyaev of Russia. Now the national anthem of Russia. Tal Flicker and Golan Polak were the bronze medalists. Fujizaka Taro of Japan was the silver medalist, and Mikhail Pulyaev took the gold. It's the rundown in the under 66 kilo category. We've got a few highlights now, and then we'll come up with the presentation, the awarding ceremony in the under 57 kilo category.
Right, the bronze medal winners in the under 57 kilo category. Viola Wächter of Germany and Lian Chenling of Chinese Taipei. The silver medal goes to Nakoda Smith-Davis of Great Britain. And the gold medal goes to Kim Jun-dee of Korea. A beaming and happy Kim Jun-dee, just at the right time, picked up the points that she needs to make it a slightly more comfortable run-in towards Rio and the qualification for the Games. Came into the competition as the number 2 seed, ended up on the number 1 spot. And now the national anthem of Korea. There's the winning quartet, Viola Wächter of Germany, Lian Chenling of Chinese Taipei, Nakoda Davis of Great Britain, and Kim Jun-dee. That's all the live judo we've got for you today. Before we go, just going to ask David McFall about his thoughts on the day. David.
Well, overall.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, overall, if you look at the weight categories, I don't see too many surprises at 52, 57, 60, 66 with the winners. We got the 2 Kims that you called, and Kichu, who won at 52, and Pulyev at 66. Those were not surprises. I think the feel-good story, of course, was Galdabrak, who won at 48. I would have called Endo, Jeong, Menezes. I mean, that's pretty solid.
A few other names, yeah.
In terms of the winner at 52, which I thought was the strongest, look at the quality opponents that Kichu fought. She fought Erdl, Mokbatar, Neto, and won against the Japanese.
Yeah.
So she really deserved that gold medal and deserved the number 1 world ranking.
Yeah, she proved that she could take on the best that was here and win it looking good as well. 3 Ippons out of the 4 fights. I thought that was good. She'll be the player of the day today. Pulyev, on the other hand, managed to win all his fights and didn't score an Ippon. You know, so, but he had a few toughies in there as well.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We look forward to your company then for day 2 of action from the Jeju Grand Prix. But from David McFall and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Take care, folks.